It started like any other Saturday morning. The sunlight poured gently through the trees, casting soft shadows on the winding paths of the zoo. Sophie walked slowly, clutching her sketchbook tightly against her chest. Unlike the other children who raced excitedly from one animal to the next, she moved with calm purpose. She wasn't interested in the noisy crowds or the bustling exhibits. Her eyes were fixed on one place, the gorilla enclosure. There, sitting quietly beneath the shade of a tall tree, was Kumba, a magnificent silverback gorilla. His dark eyes held a quiet wisdom that seemed almost human. Sophie paused at the glass, her breath fogging the surface as she pressed her palm against it. Kumba mirrored her, lifting his massive hand to meet hers on the other side. Without saying a word, Sophie opened her sketchbook and began to draw. The pencil glided softly across the page as Kumba watched intently, his gaze never wavering. Around them, people whispered and pointed, taking pictures of the unusual bond forming between the girl and the gorilla. But Sophie didn't notice. All she could see was Kumba, calm, patient, and somehow connected to her in a way no one else could understand. In that silent moment, something shifted. It wasn't just curiosity or friendship. It was something deeper, something unspoken. As if Kumba could see into Sophie's heart and knew a secret she had not yet discovered herself. Over the next few weeks, things began to change. Sophie started feeling tired all the time. At school, she struggled to keep up, her energy slipping away like sand through her fingers. Sometimes she would sit quietly, her head heavy and her breath shallow, but she never said why. Her parents thought it was just stress, or maybe she was coming down with a cold. But Kumba noticed something different. Every time Sophie came to visit, the gorilla's calm presence shifted. He grew restless, pacing slowly back and forth in his enclosure. Sometimes he would tap on the glass softly, as if trying to get her attention, then place his hand over his chest. It was a gesture no one had seen before, and it felt strangely urgent. The zookeepers watched with growing curiosity. They couldn't understand why Kumba was acting so anxious. Visitors began to whisper about the unusual behavior, and some speculated that Kumba somehow sensed that Sophie wasn't well. But it was impossible to prove. Sophie herself didn't know what was happening. She just felt weaker and more tired, and yet every weekend she returned to Kumba's side. It was like he was the only one who understood, the only one who knew there was something wrong, even before she did. One afternoon, Sophie suddenly collapsed at school. Her friends watched in shock as she fell to the floor, unable to get up. The teachers rushed to her side and called for an ambulance. At the hospital, doctors ran a series of tests to find out what was wrong. The results came back with unexpected news. Sophie had a rare heart condition, one that had been quietly developing without any obvious symptoms. It was serious and needed immediate treatment, but until that moment, no one had suspected anything was wrong. Her parents were overwhelmed with worry, trying to process the sudden diagnosis. But what puzzled them most was how Kumba had seemed to sense it all along. The way the gorilla had been restless, tapping his chest, almost like he was warning them. It was as if Kumba had known Sophie's secret before anyone else, before the doctors, before her family, even before Sophie herself. The connection between them went beyond friendship. It was something extraordinary, something that saved her life. After Sophie's diagnosis became public, experts and animal lovers alike began to talk about what had happened. Some scientists explained that gorillas and other animals have incredibly sensitive senses. They can detect changes in smell, behavior, or even tiny shifts in a person's energy that we humans might miss. Maybe Kumba had simply sensed Sophie's illness in a way that was natural for him, but others believed there was something deeper at play. They wondered if Kumba's connection with Sophie was more than instinct, if it was a kind of emotional bond, or even a mysterious intuition. Could animals really know things before we do? Could they understand our fears, our pain, or our secrets without words? The story quickly spread online, sparking debates and heartfelt messages from people who had experienced similar connections with animals. Many called it a miracle, some called it mystical, but everyone agreed it was a powerful reminder of how deeply animals can connect with us. For Sophie, the experience changed everything. It made her realize that the bond she shared with Kumba was unique and precious, a silent understanding that went beyond the ordinary. It was a reminder that sometimes the most important truths come from the ones who don't speak, but who see us clearly, all the same. Months passed, and Sophie's health slowly improved. After a successful surgery and careful recovery, she was finally able to return to the zoo. The first time she stepped back to Kumba's enclosure, her heart raced with a mix of hope and nervousness. As she approached, Kumba was waiting. He sat quietly, watching her with those deep, knowing eyes. When Sophie reached the glass, she placed her hand against it, and almost immediately, Kumba pressed his massive hand against hers in return. A low rumble escaped from his throat, a sound that felt like a greeting, a celebration, and a promise all at once. In that moment, their bond was stronger than ever, a connection that had endured even through the hardest of times. Sophie smiled, feeling a warmth she couldn't explain. Kumba had not only been her friend but also her guardian, a silent protector who had sensed her struggle before anyone else did. Their story was a reminder of the incredible power of connection, trust, and love between humans and animals. And as they sat together, separated only by glass but united in spirit, it was clear that this was only the beginning of their extraordinary journey. Kumba never spoke a single word, but his actions said more than anyone could. He saw Sophie's pain before she even understood it herself. That quiet, powerful bond between them changed the course of her life forever. Stories like theirs remind us that animals have a wisdom and sensitivity we often overlook. They can feel things beyond our understanding and connect with us in ways that words can't capture. What do you think? Have you ever experienced a moment when an animal seemed to understand you better than anyone else? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this incredible tale, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more amazing stories that touch the heart and open the mind. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the most important secrets are understood in silence.